Good morning to you, Isabelle. Do you want to either grab a mic or take the prompter? Okay. And so, just to sum it up, at this era and time of data deluge, we still need a huge effort of pedagogy to learn more about data rights and trust. So, what is the perspective of the CNIL on those pieces of regulation upcoming?
Thank you, and thank you to be here. It's true, and I'm just reacting to the previous speaker. It is true that there is a confidence crisis in the digital ecosystem, and the confidence crisis is mostly centered on data. Because of the leaks, every single week you have news about data leaks. Sony, a few years ago, Yahoo, but also leaks on very sensitive data, like health data, hospital being blackmailed through the IT system. So leaks is a point of concern. Then we had the Snowden revelations, and the Snowden revelations said to everyone that data collected for everyday lives could be used for other purposes, public security purposes, without anyone being aware of that. But I would say these two events are somehow hiding what the people are more and more resenting. It is the sort of asymmetrical relationship between them, personal and physical persons, and the companies, large companies using their data. In fact, it's rather paradoxical, because we all say that data is the oil, the petrol of the ecosystem, and the individuals, they don't know what's going on with this ecosystem. They're not mastering anything in this ecosystem. So these are the basis of this confidence crisis. So we have to fight that, because if we don't, the whole ecosystem is going to slow down, and we will lose, I would say, the benefits of this ecosystem. I would say the first actors to counter-react, it is you. It is the corporate actors, the business. And they have to realize that now, given the social expectations of their consumers, privacy protection can be a competitive argument. You can have, of course, a better relationship with your consumers if you are providing your consumers with guarantees. They are looking for these guarantees. So I think we're coming to a point where privacy protection can be a market changer. But of course, it's probably not enough. And as it was mentioned before, the GDPR, the new European legal framework, wants to, of course, give an answer to this confidence crisis. And the main line along which the GDPR works is putting the consumer back in the center, putting the individual back in the center of the regulation. And this is a very clear choice. The idea of the GDPR is to say it is the consumer, it is the individual that should have the possibility to make his or her choices, not the companies. So it's the idea is to reinforce the consent, to have new rights. It was mentioned, the right to be forgotten, but there is another one, another right that is very important. It's the portability right. I don't know if you have heard about the portability right. The idea is quite simple. It is to say you should not be locked in a social network, in a platform with which you have developed a relationship and through which the platform has a database on you. If you want to change of platform, of vendor, you should be able to do it, and then to ask the data, to have your data back in a machine-readable format, in order for you maybe to port the data to somebody else, to another platform, to another vendor. This is, I think, a very strong right for the individual, probably more efficient maybe than the right to be forgotten. And also the GDPR wants not only to reinforce the individual rights, but to more give more responsibility to the data controllers. And there is, in this European legal framework, a new notion called the accountability. The accountability means that as companies, you have to show that you're going to respect the legislation, European legislation, through various tools, and in particular through a new guy in the company, the DPO, Data Protection Officer. The DPO is going to be the compliance officer of the future in Europe. Then the GDPR also wants to stress the fact that privacy is a serious matter, and that it should be taken seriously by the companies, and through a very high level of fines. As you said yourself, the fines are they can reach 4% of the annual revenue, which is enormous somehow. But it shows the political sign that is behind is that we're coming to a point in which, if we want to restore confidence, you have to take this privacy issue seriously. Having said all that, I think the objective of the GDPR is not to build the confidence as if the outside world doesn't exist. And there are two elements that should be mentioned under this point. First, the GDPR says that if an international actor is offering goods or services within Europe, targeting a European citizen, even if he's not established in Europe, he should respect the European law. And this is very important because it puts the European actors and the international actors back on an equal basis of competition when they are collecting data from European services. So this is the first point. And the second point, it is to say that once the protection on data of personal citizen is to be assured, because the treatment has to obey to the European law, then this protection should be maintained even if the data leaves Europe. And this was exactly the case within the Shield, because the Shield is the new agreement between Europe and the United States that has replaced the safe harbor. And why do we have a Shield? It's because the safe harbor has been annulled by the European Court of Justice. And the very reason why it has been annulled, it is because the European Court of Justice has said that we have to consider not only the guarantees on the data in Europe, but also the guarantees on the data if the data is exported to the United States in the United States. So, of course, there would be much more to say about it, but just as a conclusion, to say that trust is absolutely key, I would say, for the future of this digital ecosystem. And I believe that we are coming to a stage, to a period in which privacy protection is a key element of this confidence and trust.
Thank you so much, Isabelle FALQUE-PIERROTIN. It's also the question